all of the welfare cuts which we're going to have, and cuts to the public services. And I think we should stop feeling sorry for politicians who are absolutely qualified. They've got their £1 million houses. Life is great. Let's talk about the working people in this country who really, really are going to suffer throughout the next 5 years.
All right. I agree with your answer to that.
Yeah,
The other point.
I agree with a lot of that. I think the reason why the Liberal Democrats suffered more than Conservatives, if I can pay for being a rare compliment to the Tories, is that the Conservatives are and always have been ruthless bastards. And the fact is, they
It's very interesting that
He's making a video.
well, there's a modicum of wit in there, but the reality is that the Conservative Party is about power. And that's why, to go back to your question, that's why they were willing, for example, to have the Leveson inquiry, say they were going to do it and then not do anything about it, because they are willing to stay in bed with Murdoch when, to be fair to Miliband, he sacked him off. And then the other thing I would say is that Nick Clegg
slagged him off.
Yeah, Nick Clegg broke a lot of promises. David Cameron broke a lot of promises, but Nick Clegg, he did. I think you have to agree with Francine on this. There came a point where the public was expected to say, there's Clegg and Cameron, they love each other, they're doing it all together. And then suddenly, with a year to go to the election, the Liberal Democrats did start to have this kind of move-away strategy that allowed the Conservatives to do what they called the decapitation strategy. And the decapitation strategy has worked.
All right, John Swinney.
I think on the point that after me, that I think what fundamentally did for the Liberal Democrats was that they promised people, essentially in 2010, to be anti-Tory. That's how they won most of their seats, as anti-Tories, and then went into bed with the Tories after the election and delivered policies that they said before the election they wouldn't do, and then did after the election. So there's a fundamental break points. But the second thing is that, and this is one example I would offer, I think is illustrative of the difficulty of some of the Lib Dem behaviour in government. Danny Alexander's a minister I had a lot to do with, he's my counterpart in the Treasury, and I have a lot of personal respect for him. The moment he sat beside the Chancellor and nodded his way through the budget on a Tuesday, and then on a Wednesday turned up in the House of Commons to make a statement trouncing, denouncing the contents of the budget and standing with that silly yellow box outside the Treasury, they destroyed their credibility. And I think that is what gets politicians a bad name. You sit there on one day and you nod your head through the Tory cuts, and then somehow you try to separate yourself from the following day. That is hypocrisy.
That is a dreadful, and I'm sure you know knowingly, misrepresenting what happened. We agreed with the budget that was passed through and then proposed our alternative budget after the election. So those are not the same thing. But let me just say this. You may be certain it will be tough, it will be difficult. We've done it before. We will go on fighting for those values. We will.